Well, I guess I feel like I'm slightly to blame for some of it. I know deep down I'm not, but I just, like, if I can't make my parents proud, I mean, I live in a school bus, you know, they look at me like I'm a failure.
I've been paralyzed since the age of 14, and the devil has truly attacked me through my circumstances and beat me down. I was a true beta, wheelchair-bound beta.
Beta.
But, yes, sir.
It's like the more you get, the more I want. Can't get enough of your love, babe. Things are going to get worse because of the human heart. They are going to get worse because of anger. And everybody, anytime anyone complains about a situation, what they'll tell you that they have hatred in their hearts, that they're lost. And anyone that has anger has fear. And I don't care who it is, be aware. Because an angry person will turn on you. I don't care how much you laugh and play and how much they helped you in a physical sense. An angry person will turn on you. But there's a way out for you. Whether it's your husband, your wife, your family members, whomever, right? Your enemy or whatever. Did you know that when you overcome thoughts and feelings that you have no enemies? Isn't that amazing? You have no enemies. You have no friends and you have no enemies when you overcome thoughts and feelings. But that's a different subject. But I want to tell you that in spite of everything that's going on around you, outside of you, inside of others, all this fear and stuff that's happening, human beings attacking one another and the wars and all this mess, if you deal with the war inside of yourself first and you overcome that war, the war outside of you it wouldn't bother you at all. It would be as though it's not even happening. Because your issues are inside of you. They're not inside of others. Their issues are inside of them, but your issues are inside of you. And no human being, no money, no reading the Bible, no hooping and hollering, no going down to the front of the church and accepting Jesus. None of that is going to change it. Zero. But if you start to focus on you, seek first the kingdom of God and his right way, only that. Don't seek a woman, don't seek a husband, a man, don't seek money, don't seek those things for a sense of identity. All those things will be added. And you will have perfect peace because those things will not be your God. And men, from this day forward, I want to encourage you to overcome your mama so you can overcome the spirit of the woman. The woman will no longer be your God. And then when you get with one, if you get with one, you'll be able to be with her but not need her. And in not needing her emotionally or anything like that, she'll follow you wherever you go. Because in following you, she's trying to make you need her. But in following you, she'll end up in heaven. Because she doesn't understand either. And never, ever, never, men and women, never, ever, ever, never, ever, 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 but never try to make any relationship work. You can't make it work. If you're making it work, it's not working. Somebody told you that you're supposed to put effort in a relationship. There's a give and a take. They lied to you. I cannot tell you the number of men and women I've counseled with in the last 30-something years that have tried to put effort in the relationship, and it's just been pure hell. Because anyone that's trying to put effort in a relationship, they're doing it for their own ego need, not for you. And you're not doing it for them, you're doing it for you. Pretending it's for them, and it's not. Life natural life, when you overcome the abnormal nature, natural life works by itself, and it's very, very easy. The natural way of life is easy. If it's complicated and it's making you lonely and frustrated and angry and you can't sleep at night, let it go. Let your will go, because you're operating from hell. If somebody want to leave you, bye. How soon can you be out? And if you happen to have children, well, I'm taking a kid. Okay, you want the kid? Bye, take the baby too. Do not be attached to anyone or anything. It will destroy you. Only be attached to the truth, which is God, which is love. So if somebody want to leave and you got to cry because they're leaving, or you feel sad that they're leaving, or you feel lonely, or you feel afraid, that's a problem with you. It's inside of you, and that's an abnormal life. Overcome that, all right? Let it go. It's time to take control of your own life. A spiritual law says that only you, the individual, can return to the Father. No one, you can't take anyone with you. You can't. I hear people saying, "Oh, I feel bad for my parents. I feel bad for my children. I feel bad that they can't see." Then you got a problem. Why are you feeling bad that someone else can't see? They don't want to see. They don't feel bad about not being able to see. Why do you feel bad about it? Beta male and female. Emotions are evil. And they've been pushed as though they're normal, and they're not. Whatever psychiatrists or psychologists or doctors tell you that emotions are normal and you need to feel, and they're lying to you and taking your money. They have no answers. And you pay their buku money to lie to you to keep you in hell. They don't have the answers. They're dumb as a doorknob. And they're tripping too. They have problems they can't handle. And they give you medication. They put a fancy title on it. PDSD, HDD. And they give you medication, keep you in that hell, and a fancy name for spiritual issues. I want to encourage you to take control of your own life, men and women. And stop looking for love. Nobody has love to give. No one. I have so much love for you, my dear. It's like the more you give, the more I want. Can't get enough of your love, babe. Lying to you. She ain't got no love, and you ain't getting love. You're getting fake emotions, which are evil. You're on it. Cameron, you're on the air.
Hey, how you doing?
All is well.
Awesome. I just wanted to call in and say thank you for everything you've done for me. I've listened to you for probably, a couple years, and I've been listening to, what do you call it, the church get-togethers there?
Yeah, absolutely. Fellowship.
Yeah, I've been listening to those, and they're amazing. I got to tell you that. And I don't know. I got a lot of issues in my life, and with my family. My family's been deteriorating. My father's an alcoholic. I'm an alcoholic, and I don't know. Listening to you helps me get through the day, and just keeps reminding me to turn off the thoughts, because of everything you've informed me about, and I just I've been listening to your live, and I just wanted to call in. I saw the number on the screen, and I just wanted to thank you.
Right on. You're welcome. Let me ask. When you say that your family are deteriorated, do you mean your wife and kids?
No, I'm 24. I mean, like my parents, like they're seeming like they're going through a divorce right now because of my dad's alcoholism. I tried to tell them about you, and I told them a couple of the things that, you know, I've learned from you, and he's very defiant in his ways. He doesn't want to listen. He's like, well, based off what you just told me, he's like, I don't even want to listen to him. But
Yeah.
I grew up, like, I've listened to podcasts for years now, and I listened to Jordan Peterson. You probably know him, right?
Yeah, I've interviewed him.
Yeah, I think I saw that. And
Yeah.
He's great. My dad, he didn't know who he was, but he likes him. He listens to him now, and I was trying to tell him about you, and I've sent my grandma a few videos that you've had, because you make all these great points that are so relatable. And like I said, I'm an alcoholic too, and I've been in rehab. And
Why
the things I learned.
Why are you bothered about what's happening to them?
Because I feel like as he's my dad, so I've always wanted to make him proud, and he's always been
Make him proud of
very
what?
proud of me, you know.
Why?
I don't know, because he's always been hard on me growing up, and I feel like, you know, he's one of those type of dads that'll call you lazy, call you this and that, call you names. He's got that strong kind of love. So
why don't you forgive him for being evil? That's evil.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to do that, and I just recently forgave my mom, and I think I need to do it again one day.
So let's do one thing at a time first. So you're bothered about your family falling apart for what reason?
Well, I guess I feel like I'm slightly to blame for some of it. I know deep down I'm not, but I just, like, if I can't make my parents proud, I mean, I live in a school bus, you know, they look at me like I'm a failure, and I'm happy. I try to live in happiness, you know?
Right.
But everything I do to make myself happy, they tell me that I'm being a bum, basically.
So why don't you just give them the finger and go live your life? And let them die out.
I was listening to you say that, and it's so true. That's why I wanted to call in and say thank you, because if I'm happy, why should it matter to them?
Yeah.
You know?
And so
they're living in their hell.
But I want to get to a few things here because you make an interesting point. They don't care about their own lives. If you notice, God let them stay in their hell. Why do you care?
Well, I care about my dad, and I just
if you cared about him, you would walk away.
I feel like he lost his brother really young, and that kind of ruined him.
That's
in
not
a way.
your problem. That's his problem.
Yeah. I would just feel bad knowing that if he did die, because he's in a bad mental state, and with his alcoholism too, he's been in the hospital.
But Cameron, the point is, he doesn't care about any of that. Why are you feeling bad about it?
Because I love him.
If you loved him, you wouldn't be feeling bad. You don't love him. You hate him.
You're right.
What?
I said you're right.
So then why did you say you love him?
Because I thought I did, but you are right. And I hear you talk about resenting people all the time, and I don't want to feel like I do, but I don't. He treats me terribly, but all I ever want is to try to love him, but I can't. And
you don't have love.
You
don't have it yet, so you can't.
Yep.
You only have hate.
You're right.
So you went to your mother and forgave her?
Yeah.
What did you say to her?
Well, we were talking about family stuff that came up, and it was emotional. I get emotional sometimes.
I get so emotional, baby, every time I look at you.
Oh, Jess, that's why I love you. But it was just talking about the family, and I just wanted to let her know. Like I said, her and my father are going through like a divorce right now, and it's mainly directed by his alcoholism, which is why.
That's not what doing it. That's not what doing it.
Yeah, you're right.
The divorces happened because your mama hates your daddy hates your mama.
Yep.
And it had nothing to do with alcohol.
You're so right, and I just try to, God, it's just so hard to, it's easy to see the truth, and you just point it out, but it's so hard sometimes to wrap your mind around it. You know what I mean?
You said you went and forgave your mother. What did you say to her?
I feel like it was genuine, but I feel like I need to go back to her because I basically kept it as simple as I was crying on the phone like a beta for one. And, yeah. and I was thinking about you because I knew what I needed to do, and she was feeling bad for stuff she did, and I just said, look, I forgive you for, everything that you did to me growing up, allowing Dad to treat me the way he did. And, she didn't deny anything I was saying, but I could sense that she didn't really understand where I was coming from, but I think it made her feel better, but I'm not exactly sure. I feel like I need to go back to her and do a more thorough forgiveness.
Did you grow up close to your mother?
Yeah, I grew up, my family was together, both my mom and dad.
And who were you the closest to, your father or your mother?
Oh, God, I'm scared to even say. It was my mom.
No wonder your dad beat your A.
Well, it's sad because it's like my dad, even to this day, I have to reach out to him. He doesn't talk.
Well, we're going to get to your father in a minute, but that's why your father treated you that way, because you treated him in the same way that your mother was treating him. It's the same spirit. You had become like your mother, and you identified with your mother as though she was a victim, and she was not a victim. That's why she didn't stop your dad from beating you, because she wanted him to beat you so you could hate him and think that he was a bad guy.
That makes sense. Well, okay, so I got a question about how are you able to forgive somebody? Like, how am I supposed to forgive my dad if I can't agree with or feel? I don't even understand how to ask the question, but I don't. Like I said, I'm struggling with figuring out a way to forgive him because I want to, but I just don't even know what I would say to him where he would understand what I'm trying to get at.
Okay, that's a good question. You know how you have this anger, you're emotional, and you don't know how to make life work for you?
Yeah.
And you can't help yourself?
Yeah.
Your father has the same problem. Your mama got the same problem. Every human being has the same problem.
And I hear you say that.
They could not help themselves. And knowing that you can't help yourself would cause you to realize they can help themselves. And you would go to them and say, hey, I'm sorry for resenting you. I realize now you couldn't help yourself. And even with your mother, hey, mother, I'm sorry for resenting you. I know now you couldn't help yourself when you turned me away from my father. Your hatred made you turn me away from him too. I know now that you couldn't help yourself. And don't ask for forgiveness. You apologize for resenting them. And then God will forgive you. And he will take the spirit of the mother away from you, which is the spirit of evil. And you'll start to see, and everything else will start to change.
That makes perfect sense.
And you don't need them to understand, because they do understand. They just pretending they don't. But you don't need them to understand. You don't need them to apologize. You don't need them to admit to anything. If they do, that's good for them. But you don't need that. You're admitting I'm wrong for resenting you, because that's what's keeping you away from perfect peace, right? And when you apologize for resenting them, realizing they couldn't help it, God will forgive you, and you can start living your life.
And let them
go right on to hell.
Yeah.
Because they're already in hell, and they love their hell, and they love talking about their hell, and they love hating because they love their hell.
How do you deal with, I can't deal with it, I guess, but, living with an alcoholic or something? Because I feel bad for my mom, too, mostly, because, she's getting run down by him. I guess that's her fault,
not.
Right?
Your mother is getting exactly what she loves. She wants him to do that. That's why she make him do it. She brings it out of him so she can feel like a victim and make you guys think she's the victim. But what you don't know, and you will see it if you wake up, that your mother loved bringing the hell out of your father, and she loved feeling like the victim. Your mother is not a victim.
Yeah, I guess, because she could walk up and go whenever she wanted to.
No,
too.
she doesn't. She love it. If she left your father, she would go and find somebody else that she could bring the hell out of. So she could.
What if she's confused though, and she stayed for her children? You know, I always think of that. Like,
She's
what if
lying.
She's only staying-
She didn't stay for her children. She stayed for the hell of it. Because if she had stayed for her children, she would not have turned them against their father.
Well, so to that point, because they've been going through problems recently, and I came up there. I don't ever really see my dad, but I went up to the house. I go up there. Sometimes they actually live like a mile or two down the road from me. And I went up there, and it was a few months back, but she's been going through problems with my sister. She's in high school right now, so I think she's 16. And she was talking about this and that, and with Leah is her name, and she was talking about how, oh, Dad's doing this, Dad's doing that, and I was talking to your sister about this and that, and I said, well, that's where I'm going to stop you, because I told her, I said, I don't think you should be telling my little sister your points of view on our dad, you know what I mean? Whether he be right or wrong, but, I mean, listening to you made me realize that and tell her that, and she's like, no, you're right, like, I wasn't trying to, like, put him down to her, but I just pointed that out to her. I was like, that's not right. You shouldn't be doing that.
Your
because,
mother
she's going to...
Your mother is pure evil, and she knows exactly what she's doing. She has no business talking to you or anyone else about your father.
Yeah, that's what I told her. But my dad isn't exactly a nice guy.
But we'll get to him. Let's deal with evil one first.
Yeah.
Your mother is pure evil, and she knows exactly what she's doing. She's talking about your guy's father, so you all won't love him, but be in the hell with her. And that's why she's talking to your sister and you and everybody else about him, because your mother's heart is wicked. And you can't play a game with evil. You can't pretend it's your father's fault. It's not your father's fault at all. Your mother was already evil when your father met her. When he first laid eyes on her, she already had those problems. She was already evil. In the same way, your father was already evil when he met your mama, because his mama had already destroyed him as well.
And that's I can definitely see that, 'cause my dad's mom he's just like her. So I grew up Catholic, and I was confirmed.
Do you see what your mother's like?
My mom's mom, that's weird, because she's a super nice lady. She's smoking cigarettes, drinking booze, but she's the most go with the flow type.
Oh, that's the worst kind. Your mother,
I guess.
Your grandmother destroyed your mother. That's how she became that way. Your mother is not a nice lady.
I've never seen my mom's mom resent people, though.
Look at your mom.
You know,
all you do is look at your mother.
Yeah, I know. I guess you're right.
And if you ever be honest with your grandmother, you're going to see the hell come out of her too.
No, actually, now that you bring that up, you're right.
She's only acting nice because nobody's being honest with her about the hell that's in her.
Yeah, and she's been through a divorce. My mom's parents are divorced, so that all makes sense, I guess.
She has recreated her daughter in her image, and that's why her daughter is living the same life that her mother lived.
So there's nothing I can really do, though, besides just forgive them, let them go on their way.
100%.
All right.
And I want to encourage you, do what you want, but I want to encourage you from this day forward, but do what you want. I would never have another conversation with my mother about my father or her troubles.
Yep. No, and it feels wrong when she does it to me. It does feel wrong.
Right, because you're talking to hell.
Yeah.
And your mother loved complaining because she get a false sense of a thrill from it when she even complain about it.
Let me mention something about my dad. I was up there. They got a camp, you know, a little tiny little lake house thing, camp, whatever. But I went up there. Been trying to visit them more often just to see them and say hi. And I was sitting in the sunroom with my dad and mom and my grandma. My dad, he's one of those types that likes to lecture, and he, like I said, he drinks all the time. So when he gets, you know, late at night, starts getting a little sideways, and he doesn't want to listen to anybody. But as I've gotten older, I've been able to learn how to just say how I actually feel to him. And we got to a point in the conversation, and it's happened multiple times now, when I go up there and I try to talk to him, and for like an hour or two we'll talk, and it feels good. And then I'll say something he doesn't like, and I see the anger come out of him, and he flips out at me. Like, not like he just, the anger, I don't know what it is. He, like this last time he told me, he says, I said something and I was trying to tell him about you, and he says, don't F word with me. Like, he said it much more aggressively than that, and he points his finger at me and he's staring me dead in the eyes, and that's the point he gets to. He gets to the point where he literally wants to strangle me. You know what I mean? And then I had to stand up, walk away. I started crying, and I told him I loved him. And he didn't say anything back to me, and I walked outside. I smoked a cigarette, and then I came back in, and I didn't know if he was still going to be there, and he was. And he was, like, sitting on the couch, and I told him again because I wanted him to know that I loved him. And he didn't even say anything to me, and I was like, I don't, but how do you deal with wanting to help somebody, but you just have to walk away? Is that the best way to help them, is to walk away? Because I feel like he doesn't know how to help himself.
I'm glad that he treated you that way. And I hope he continued to treat you that way as long as you think that you can help him or anybody. You can't even help yourself, and you keep imposing on him. He should treat you that way. Because you just like his mama.
Sense. No, well, he felt bad too because he felt like I was telling him he was wrong, and he brought up the.
He should be treating you that way because you need to back off and work on your own life. The only thing you need to do with both of your parents is apologize to them for resenting them. They could not help themselves, and you need to go live your life and stop trying to change anyone. And you don't love your father either, because if you loved him, you would back off.
Right. Oh, that makes sense. It makes me feel bad though, because it's the devil speaking. I understand that, but it feels, and you shouldn't listen to your feelings, I know, but it feels like it's coming from a good place, But all it does is create chaos and hell, and I guess
because you just like your mama, you're into thoughts and feelings. Yeah. You got to overcome the female nature, which is of your mother, because you're treating your father like a female.
Should I want to be like him, though? I mean, not in the sense of an alcoholic, I guess.
You don't want to be like anyone but you.
Yeah.
You don't want to be like your father. You don't want to be like your mother. You don't want to be like your dog. You don't want to be like your cat.
How do I react when my dad then tells me I'm doing wrong, though? Like I said, I'm trying to live in a way that makes me happy.
Carmen, you don't understand. You don't overreact. You got to stop overreacting. That's what women do.
Yeah.
So hear me out. Let me tell you this before you hear me out. You said earlier, do you understand you got to forgive your father because you see him the way your mother see him?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And he hates you for it because you're doing him the same way his mother does him. I mean, your mother treat him.
Yeah. But
aren't you tired of being a female?
Say that again?
Aren't you tired of being a female?
I'm tired of whatever I'm doing, yeah. And if that's being a female, then yeah, I guess.
That is being a female. Any man that's into thoughts and emotion is a woman. He's a female.
Yeah.
So let me go to this first, and then I'll tell you the other stuff. You said that you were an alcoholic earlier, right? Well,
hearing you say it makes me revert back into thinking of, no, I'm not. But because I was in rehab for almost 3 months, and that was the last time I stopped drinking. Before that, I probably drank for a few years straight, and then I've been drinking. After I got out of rehab, I started drinking basically the week after I got out, and consistently. I haven't stopped drinking. So who is the person that's the alcoholic? Who are you that you describe this person that is an alcoholic? Well, that's what I've been told. I've never believed I've been an alcoholic, but I live in the life of what they would call an alcoholic, so I guess I've fallen student. Like, when you go into AA, they tell you need to say, "Hi, my name's Cameron. I'm an alcoholic."
Right.
And then
what a setup.
Yeah. So that's where I get that kind of thinking from, I guess.
Right. So it sounds like you've heard me say, stop identifying as anything.
Yeah.
Because you're not an alcoholic. That's what you do, as a result of having all this conflict inside of you and not knowing who you really are, but this fake you, and you're using the alcohol to try to escape the conflict. But you are not an alcoholic. The real you, not, and this fake you, is not even you, but you identify with the alcohol and calling yourself that. Never say that again.
Okay.
Because it gives you a falseness of identity. That's a spirit that is made a home in you. It's not you.
It makes sense. My boss was trying to tell me, because we were talking about it, and told him, I just got to quit or something. And he says, well, don't even look at it like that. He said, just stop, And he, I couldn't really understand how he, it didn't make sense to me. But relating to what you're saying, you got to formulate your way of thinking, I guess. And I don't,
Listen, how old are you?
24.
You can't stop drinking alcohol. Because if you stop, you're going to use something else in the place of it.
Well, I unfortunately smoke marijuana, too.
I rest my case.
Yeah, I know.
So here's what if you want to because the alcohol is not the problem. The problem is that you've been turned away from your Father toward evil, toward darkness. And you're lost. You're in the wilderness of your imagination and emotions. That's the wilderness. And you're lost in the wilderness. And you're trying to find everything to make you feel better, and nothing going to work. You understand that?
Absolutely. That makes perfect sense. That's what it feels like.
And so here's what I want you to do. I want you to give up trying to make your life work. Never try to prove anything to your father, your mother, anyone, Jesse Peterson or anyone. Never try to be like anyone. If you want to live in a hole of dirt, you live there and be at peace. And so never try to prove anything. But you got to start working on you. You see that as wrong for resenting your parents, and this resentment is destroying you by keeping you in the darkness, right?
Absolutely.
Because anyone that has anger is judging. And when you judge, you are being judged. Because what you do to others, you're doing it to yourself. Is that clear?
That's amazing.
Your father and mother cannot help themselves. They have the same problem that they have passed on to you.
Yeah. That's one of the, I appreciate most about you, because you've helped me realize that when I get these thoughts into my head, and when I first realized I liked you, I was anxious all the time, and I still am. Don't get me wrong. I'm still dealing with trying to learn how to figure it out.
Let me tell you this about the anxiousness. That's not you either. That is the spirit of evil in your flesh, and it is anxious and just feel like you, but it's not you at all.
Yeah.
But
no, and that's what I'm trying to. I look at my thoughts now, I feel like, and when I feel that way, I'm like, why am I feeling like this? And I just push it to the side, but I'm getting there. I need to start doing the silent prayer. I'm not doing that.
And why not?
Guess I'm lazy. I want to. I hear you say do it all the time. I know. Suffering, I know. That's what I'm That's what I'm going to end up doing. I don't want to, but I need to start doing it. I'm going to start doing it.
So here's what I recommend. Forgive your parents, especially your mother, for turning you away from your father. And forgive your father for not protecting you from your mother. He can help it.
Yep.
And don't ask for forgiveness. Don't expect anything from them at all. And have no expectation. And don't let the devil tell you, oh, it didn't work, and blah, 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 right? Have no expectation. Yeah. And then start doing the silent prayer so you can come. The light of God, the love, the truth, will bring you out of the darkness of the imagination. And I want you to start, I encourage you to start just watching those thoughts, knowing that it's not you. And if you stay with it because you have identified with emotions and thought for so long, you think it's you. So you have layers and layers of false identities to overcome. So be patient and watch. And when you feel the pain of fear, loneliness, sadness, joy, or whatever. You let it all pass. And you stay with it, and you stay with it, and you'll be fine. And from this day forward, I recommend do what you want. I would be done with my parents' problem. They love their hell. They love their problems. They have displayed that to you over and over again. So back off, go and work on and live your life.
Sounds good.
And don't try to prove anything to your father or anybody. It's evil trying to prove anything to anyone. God doesn't prove that he's God to anyone.
Yeah.
Why should you prove anything to anyone?
Yeah.
And the more you try, the more they're going to act like they don't see it anyway, because they feel like they have control over you. And they're going to pretend they don't see what you're doing. And they do, but they love the control they have more than they appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah. So I just want to be clear too. You think exactly how he treated me, and I can see it too. I believe you, but how he treated me, and I felt bad about it. He was in the right when he didn't say "I love you" back and stuff.
Yeah, because he had no love to give you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He didn't love 100%. You, and you didn't love him. You are yearning for him. That emptiness you have is a yearning for the Father, right?
Okay, that makes sense.
You're not going to get it that way. He could tell you all day and night he loves you. That's not going to do anything. But when you forgive him, then that emptiness, that void, that yearning will disappear. And then you will love your Father with the love of God, and it will be perfect.
That makes perfect sense. Thank you.
It's time to work on you only.
Yep.
And in talking with you about all these things you've been trying to do with your father and everyone, you're listening to the same devil that set you up. The answers are not in the mind. They're not in the imagination. That's what got you in trouble in the beginning when you became angry. They are not in thoughts. So stop trusting thoughts. You're in a jail cell, or you're going around in this jail cell and trying to get the solution to how to break out from thoughts, when it was the thoughts that put you into jail, and now the thoughts will give you all kind of answers to keep you there, but you keep trusting them. If you want to crawl out of jail, you got to crawl out of thoughts.
Does that mean being okay with, you have to be okay with being uncomfortable then?
100%.
Okay.
100%, man. You watch yourself, and when you feel, that's what it means to keep eye on yourself. You're really watching the not self, right? And when you feel uncomfortable, when you feel fear, when you feel lonely, when you feel all this, it's you're watching it, and you're neither okay with it or not okay with it. You're just watching it, because you're watching. The real you is watching the not you. And the not you is dying. It's becoming weaker and weaker and weaker. And eventually it'll be gone. So don't hate it nor love it.
Will do.
That makes sense?
Absolutely. And again, I just want to thank you, Jesse, because you've helped me tremendously.
You're welcome, but you haven't seen help yet. Wait until you stay with it. Do the silent prayer every morning, every night. Don't let. And it's going to be overwhelming in the beginning because you're so accustomed to living in thoughts, and it feels like you're dying, but it's not you. It feels overwhelming. It feels overwhelming, but it's not you. You're just watching. You're finally watching the not you, and that's in the light of God would get rid of it.
Absolutely, yeah. I've heard you say you got to turn the thoughts off too. And
well, you turn them off by just watching them. You're not your thoughts.
Right.
Don't fight with them. Don't do anything but watch.
Yep.
Like watching a TV show.
Well, thank you again, Jesse, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
I appreciate that. The same for you. But listen, go and forgive your parents. Just don't ask them. Just say, hey, I'm sorry for resenting you. And however they respond to it, that's on them.
So let me ask about that, too. So you got to forgive, but you also have to apologize for what you've done, right?
No.
Okay.
Not one iota. No. No, 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 no. And no mean no.
Okay, so no apology.
The only thing you is apologizing for, I'm sorry for resenting you. I realize now you can
right.
help yourself.
That's what I heard you say earlier. That's what I was trying to. I thought I heard you say that, so I just wanted to make sure. So that's okay. You just apologize for resenting them in the first place.
And that's what it means to confess your sins. I am wrong for resenting you, and then the heart will change.
Have you ever learned about the 12 steps at all, or no?
Thank God, no.
Well, they talk about
that's the last thing you need is a 12 step. You need one step.
Well, they talk about they have you go through the 12 steps.
I know. I heard about them.
But they talk about resentment, and they want you to write down how you feel wronged by other people, and then after that, the next step is you gotta write down what you did to that person to make them, to make them resent you or
give them the finger.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. You make me so happy, Jesse. And you make so much sense too. I don't know. I've never met anybody that I've learned that when you tell the truth, it makes sense for whatever reason.
And you know why it makes sense?
No.
Because God is allowing you to see that what I'm saying makes sense. It's not me causing you to see it. It's He.
I just can't
causing you to see it.
I can't believe I've never heard somebody explain it in the way that you do. Because like I said, I grew up going to catechism every week and stuff, and I'd ask the priest questions about the Bible, and I didn't understand things. And the way he would explain it would just leave me still confused. But the way you explain things makes me just feel like my eyes are open. I don't understand.
And they are opening. That's because you want the truth. You want what's right. You welcome in the truth. You're not mad at the truth. You welcome them in. And it is coming into you and waking you up and bringing you back to the Father.
It feels good, honestly. You can feel it. And I know I'm not there yet, 100%.
Yeah.
Not even close to 100. But ever since listening to you, and I got to get on the silent prayer. I know.
Yep. And what you said, and what feels good, is all this conflict and this anger, this fear, this loneliness, this doubt, this revenge, this anxiety, this trying to please someone. That is starting to disappear. And you have a free feeling, and that's what you mean by feel good, because the conflict is disappearing.
Heavy.
And you are becoming free of the darkness, and that's what you're seeing. That's what you're feeling.
Well, thank you again, Jesse. It all makes perfect sense when it comes from you.
So don't say I'm sorry for what I did. No, don't, because everything you have done up until this point was because of your mother. She recreated you her image, and you were given back what you got. And because your father was angry as well, or is angry.
Yep.
It was never your fault. You are not guilty and never have been guilty of anything except not forgiven so that you could be free. But everything else that you've done that has happened to you in life was never, ever you.
Like starting to sweat right now.
The only thing that you were wrong for was hating, because it separated you from your earthly father and God, right?
Yeah.
Other than that, you have never done anything at all in your life that's wrong. You have never done it. It was this false identity inside of you making you think that it was you, but it was never you. And so God is not holding anything against you at all, because He knows that you were never guilty of anything except for not forgiven.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
All right, so I got to run, but do the silent prayer. Apologize to them for resenting them. You don't need a long conversation. If they understand it, fine. If they don't, fine. They do understand it is lying, but they don't want it, right? And if they accept it, fine. If they don't, fine. God will forgive you. Don't ask for forgiveness. I'm sorry for resenting you, and God will forgive you, all right?
All right. Well, thank you very much, Jesse. It was a great first-time call for me. I was a little nervous calling in. I don't think I've ever called in on a radio show before, but
all right,
you make me feel good.
You make me smile only just for a while. Thank you, man.
Thank you, Jesse.
Let me know how it goes.
Have a good one.
All right, you too.
All right, I will. I'll call back.
Okay. Have a good
All right, thank you.
All right. Amazing. Zach, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Good morning, Jesse.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning from Sweet Home, Alabama.
Sweet Home, Alabama.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, I just wanted to call this morning and say thank you for the Manhood Hour, and thank you for your show. That call right there from Cameron was absolutely beautiful and very fitting for Manhood Hour. Also very fitting to my life. I've absolutely lived that same scenario, same set of circumstances, just with an additional factor. I've been paralyzed since the age of 14. I'm 35 now. I was injured racing motocross, and the devil has truly attacked me through my circumstances and beat me down. I was a true beta, wheelchair-bound beta. But, yes, sir. But thanks to the Father God delivering the message through you for all of us to hear, I am now a double middle finger given alpha. And yes, sir, absolutely. Praise God. Through the message, I have been able to realize that I have overcome paralysis. I have overcome everything that the devil has thrown my way, trying to defeat me, just by eliminating my thoughts, my emotions, my ego. I couldn't see all that. I thought, well, yeah, you're living on your own, been on your own since you was 18 and 100% independent, and, look at you, big bad, doing things that others, can't do or praise you for doing and all that. And that was the devil right there. I was representing Satan. And, but going back to Cameron, man, I really hope and pray that he sticks with it and listens to every single word that the Father just shared through you with him, because he can do it. Cameron can overcome, and all men and women going through this can overcome, because you're right. We're all on the same journey. It's just a different set of circumstances that we're having to deal with and overcome. Yep. And he just needs to give 2 middle fingers and just go away and just isolate, because you are absolutely right. Again, the more silent time that we have and the more we isolate ourselves, we have to choose to isolate ourselves from evil once it is revealed to us that we're dealing with that evil. And when we separate and isolate and we go into silent time, God really, really opens up the eyes of your heart.
Absolutely,
and
man.
When your heart is open, your mind is open, and, man, God will just show out through you. But you have to let him. You have to let go of absolutely everything.
If you let go of all thought, you can walk on water.
Yes, amen. Yes, sir.
How old are you, Zach?
I'm 35.
Amazing, man. Are you doing the silent prayer yet?
Yes, sir, I sure am.
Every morning, every night?
Yes, sir. That's what keeps me going right now, Jesse.
Stay with it, stay with it, stay with it, and have no expectation, and great things will happen. It's going to blow your mind even more so. Amen.
Yes, sir, Jesse. And I just, you're so right, and I don't want to take up any more time on here, but just, man, it's just that I praise the Father for the beautiful message that he is sharing through you, Jesse.
Yeah. Amazing. Man, this is an amazing call. Stay with us, Zach, and it's just going to get better. All thoughts are all lies all the time about anything, so never believe a thought.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're so right. And all men out there, Come on, guys. Let's be alphas.
It's time to return to the Father.
Amen, Jesse. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Zach. Amazing call.
Yes, sir. You're welcome. Thank you, Jesse.
You're welcome, buddy. Call me again.
Yes, sir. I sure will.
All right. That's amazing. I'm telling you, folks, it's up to you. Nobody else. It's up to you. Either you're going to be in the world or out of it. In it, but not of it. You're going to live from the world within, or you're going to live the illusional world outside of you, and it will destroy you.